Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So good to see everyone here. We got a new guest, Jeff. Good morning. It's so good to have you here. And good morning, everyone on YouTube. So good to have you here this morning. So today's lesson is going to be about motivation. Yes. And I know that every single one of us in here have some way in our life that we have to be motivated. And maybe there's some way in your life where there's a lack of motivation and you just have to get motivated in some way. So I know, like, for the definition of motivation, there's actually a couple. The noun is the general desire of willingness of something to do something, of someone to do something, and the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way, right? And so when we think about motivation in our daily lives, like, it starts from the time, first thing in the morning, when you have to be motivated to get out of bed, right? And then there's so many other things that come up during the day in which you have to be motivated. So when you think about motivation, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
An extra push to get things done.
An extra push? Okay.
I think of the words self-starter.
Yeah.
Start yourself.
Self-starter, yes.
Well, motivation, it depends on the person. Some people can motivate themselves, and some people cannot. Some people need help from outside to motivate. So I think we have to, and some people need both. I think the introverted people, they tend to do it by themselves. Extroverted people, maybe both. Or maybe, just, I don't know, maybe, when I come across people, especially my patient, when I try to motivate them to do, the anti-inflammatory diet, for example, I come across so many people, and I just find that some are very focused, and they just need one advice, and then they are able to motivate themselves because of their understanding.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, no matter how many times I try to motivate them, they still could not do it. But when they pair up with a buddy, then they do it better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I was going to say that it's like that extra push that some people need sometimes to just get going in life. It's not that, I feel like even though we might be able to be self-starters like you mentioned, sometimes and some days we just need to, and I wouldn't even say seek outside of us, but probably just seek deep within us to find that true motivation to get things done and to get you going in the mornings and every day and everything that you do. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Paula? I know that you have to be motivated too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm her motivator.
Yeah, okay.
Motivation, what comes to your mind when you hear that word?
Math?
Math, because she doesn't love it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, gotcha.
How do you motivate yourself to do math?
Speak out loud. You can speak. Go ahead. Go ahead so we can hear you. I'm not, yes, but I'm not hearing you. Go ahead.
You motivate yourself how? You can do this.
You tell yourself
Yeah.
you can do this, yes.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. You can do anything you set your mind to. You just have to believe. That's really good. Yes. See, we can all learn from her.
Set yourself a goal too.
Yeah. Set yourself a goal to do it. Yeah. Well, what about those times when you set yourself a goal and you still don't want to do it?
I like to see a result though, so I keep doing it. I get what I want.
Yeah. Does it have to be?
That's just me, you know.
Yeah. Like an external result?
No, just if I want to get something done, like for example, I mean, this isn't what really happened, but this morning, I like to take my time in the morning, and so I knew I had to leave here earlier, so I just got up earlier, and I said, okay, get out of bed, you can do it, get up.
Uh-huh.
Just talk yourself into it sometimes, yeah. 'Cause otherwise, I think we just tend to just
Yeah.
do nothing.
But what I heard you say and what I heard Paula say is like you were motivating yourself. You said, you can do it, you can do it. She said, I know I can do it, right? And so that's that internal voice that's motivating you to do something externally. Yeah.
Well, I remember from my, when I was quite young, the little engine that could. Remember, I think they still use that one, don't they, for young people?
Yeah.
The little engine that could. Yeah. That's kind of motivation, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Can you, I know there's a lot of people are watching that may not remember the little engine that could. Can you give us an overview of that?
Well, I remember it was a puffer belly because it would puff smoke, and it would go up hills, I think, I remember. But that's about all I can remember about it. I just remember the name really well, and I remember I liked it when I was in my...
And Rachel's like,
My son
yes.
has autism and he reads like every book imaginable. So, so basically the train, it's a smaller train, and so like it's going up a hill. But every time it gets to the top to go over down the other side to get to where it needs to go, it starts falling back. And so it's like I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, until finally he gets over
Get
it.
us over with it.
Yeah.
So, but it took many times.
I guess determination is another word too.
Yeah.
I also think of the phrase, a man's reach, and it should be a person's reach, but when I first heard it, they said it was a man's reach should exceed his grasp for what's ahead of him for.
That's heavy.
Look, everybody's like, yeah.
A person's reach should exceed their grasp for what's ahead of them. I think that's a good statement.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You always try to reach up to do better.
Yeah.
And trying to reach for heaven. So that's the motivation.
But I feel like we all need to have a tool to nudge it. Because, okay, I know I have to do this, but how I'm going to get to do it is the question. And that how is when we are going to find a tool for ourselves. Which way? How? So, we can set up cues. So sometimes I give my patients, and I said, if you need visual cues, that's one way. Visual cues around the house to motivate you, to remind you to do things. Or you listen to inspirational videos or speech, and that is my favorite. I just listen to the people who have a lot to teach, a lot to learn, a lot to motivate me. So I listen every single day. That is my way. So each of us will find a way, I think, and we just have to try out different ways to find out what's the best way, what's the most effective way to motivate ourselves.
Yeah. So when you speak of tools, what exactly do you mean by tools?
The tools are just anything. It doesn't have to be physical subject. So if you rely on the visual cues, then you need those subjects. The objects, you need those objects around you. If you are the person who work best with visual cues, but if for me it's more of the not the visual cues. For me it's the hearing cues. So then I rely more on text, on videos and things like that. For another person, it's literally end up with a spouse or a close friend. So they need that. So that spouse or best friends are their tools. So tools could be in various forms.
Right. Yeah. I think that that's really helpful for people to know that it's not always just about, I think I can do it, but there are also tools, like you mentioned, with motivational speakers. They're called that for a reason. Like, they can really get you going, right? Especially if you're listening to the right one that's speaking directly to you. There's also, the friends or tapes or videos. There's a lot of tools out there, and it just depends on what that person needs in that moment, right? Because at one moment, you may need a friend to be there for you. At another moment, you can internally do it yourself. And at another moment, you just need to listen to a motivational speaker or read a book, right? And so it's always changing, just like we are as people. We're always changing, right? I'm not the same person that I was yesterday. Chris is not the same person that he was yesterday or even a year ago. We're always changing, and we're always learning about ourselves. We're always learning about the things that we need to be the better person that we can be, to motivate ourselves in different ways, to motivate other people that are around us, right? So when you think about like other people that are around you, other people that are close in your circle, what does motivation look like in your circle? Whether that's friends, families, coworkers, what does that look like?
I would say what it looks like just one thing, because it's just a variety of things. So, I think if one thing works for one person, it doesn't mean that it works for another person. So when you talk with a friend who need to be motivated, I just feel like, yes, you can suggest the things that you do, but it may not be the right thing for them. So get to know the person and maybe help them to find the best method, best tool.
Mm-hmm.
So in the group, you may have different people needing different ways to be motivated. And we all need to learn that skill of listening thing. I'm still learning. This. I see patient every day, and it's not always my way of coaching them is effective for everyone. It's not. So then after a while, I think, okay, what? I have to change it. I have to change the way I approach this person. Okay, my approach to this person, oh, it works. Doesn't mean that it will work for this person. So after trying, we just figure it out.
Yeah.
And we all learn that way. So, but if I have to answer that question, it looks colorful.
I would say colorful and beautifully messy. That's how I will put it. I have a little bit of everything in my house, for example. And my ways with the oldest one does not work with the youngest one or with the two middle ones. I have to have different approaches for each and every one of them. Because they're unique and individual people. They're not a group.
Right.
should, see things and see others in order to be able to guide them, to lead them, to serve as motivators for.
I would like your opinions on whether motivation in a person is somewhat inherited, or at least somewhat a result of the lifestyle your family led. In my family, there were 4 siblings, myself and 3 others, and obviously a mom and a dad, and we all graduated from college. Now, not that that's the only way to be motivated. It could have been a trade school, because I think trade schools are really important today. But, when you grow up seeing your brothers and sisters and mom and dad showing a lot of motivation, it's a lot easier to learn that yourself, it seems like to me.
Yeah.
But then again, you can have bad motivations. I mean, you look at President today and his son. I mean, his son, Hunter, obviously is motivated, but they're bad motivations. So they have bad motivations, obviously. So that can happen. I haven't known too many successful families whose children were totally unsuccessful, but it does happen. So what I'm saying here isn't always true, but I think more times than not, it is if you have good role models.
Yeah.
Or family role models.
So that makes me think, like, is it in our DNA? You asked if it's inherited. Like, what about our environments that we're in? How does environment affect motivation?
If you're surrounded with people that are always complaining, you won't be motivated to do anything. If you're surrounded with people that are doing things to improve themselves, then you will find motivation there. We are part of a whole. We're pieces here, so everything is connected, I believe.
Yeah. So what Josmara said is that motivation can be based on the environment of people, either a lack or more.
It can affect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like motivation can come from circumstance.
Yeah.
Like what environmental factors are playing into your circumstances, or what your personal circumstances are, wanting to just have something different, or something like that to sort of motivate you to learn a different way from what you have learned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else? What about your living environment? Your living environment. They talk about feng shui.
The way you have your home also will affect your mood, the mood of everybody in the family, and that's something that is proven, scientifically proven. There's data on that even.
Yeah.
Energy.
Yeah.
Energy, frequency, they affect our bodies, so our motivation can be dependent on that.
It's like I said, we are our own person. We're individuals. We are part of a whole big thing that is way bigger than us, and our energy is part of it as well. So
Yeah.
I believe that motivation cannot exist without all these factors affecting it in a positive or negative way.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will affect our motivation. Like Rachel said, our personal circumstances, the way we're feeling, our emotions, it's everything. It's everything that's within us and everything that is outside of us as well.
I mean, what comes to mind, one of the things that comes to mind for me when you think about environment, and I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but with depression, when you're depressed, are you really motivated
No.
to do things?
I do think function as well, but also like different people are going to have different levels of motivation. And I think in our world, we view motivation as you're gung-ho on like getting this giant task done. And like, for example, for my son, with his motivation and things like that, like you have to sometimes look at the very small things that are accomplished or done, or the slightest bit of motivation, and view that as a success in order to sometimes get to that higher motivation. And so sometimes we just don't accept where people are on the motivation level and sort of judge for that, and that can hinder motivation as well.
Yeah, yeah.
The food you eat too. Yes, that it's like I said, it's a whole bigger, way bigger picture than just a word. You
Right.
know? It's not. It's way more complex than that. And you mentioned frequencies. I'm an energy healer, and I've been an energy healer for more than 10 years now. And that's something that I always tell to people. You gotta be, it's out there. It's very accessible. You can play with it all you want, but you have to have the knowledge, because you don't want to be listening to a frequency that might induce you to slow down your body and sleep while you're doing the day. And I know a lot of people are like, because people reach out to me like every day asking me this question, like, oh, I was reading about this 528 frequency because this regenerates the DNA and this and this and this, and I'm like, yes, but it's not that if you just listen to it, it's gonna cause all the brain function to, and when the reactions and actions inside your body to do so. You have to also have other tools. You can have sessions with like, sound healing tools that would elevate that and that will really get there and help you. Or I like to listen to this mix of frequencies to sleep sometime, but not to sleep, to wind down to before sleeping. And sometimes it works for me, but if I had a day where I had a flare, for example, if I had a day where I was too busy, it won't work. Because the frequency, exactly, the frequency itself is not a miracle thing. It's not going to work on you miraculously or induce you because you use it one night.
Right.
You have to, everything builds up in the body. Starting it's starting with our energy biofield. And it's a lot, and motivation comes from all around us. For example, some days I'm not feeling too good in the mornings, but I know I have to take Paula to school, and she knows, and she looked at me sometimes and she's like, oh my God, this woman looks like exhausted today, probably she didn't sleep well last night. And I come back home and sometimes I say, I need to go and lie down a little bit. But then again, I'm awake already, I see the sun coming out, I start doing things, and I find motivation in the simple and little things that you could imagine. Sometimes it's just me being able to get out of the bed and walk a few steps without having pain on my feet first thing in the morning, for example. Or just being able to eat immediately after I wake up because my stomach feels good and I woke up hungry and I don't have to wait hours for me to be able to sit down and have my breakfast. It will depend on the person. It will depend on the mindset of the person. It will depend on the tools that the person starts to gain through their lives. And I was coming home telling them, well, we are all doing all this like in a weird way. I was like, we're seeking for personal growth, spiritual evolution, and we don't realize that one thing leads to the other one. And that's where you can actually be mindful and peaceful and be at ease and not react to what life throws at you in poor ways. It's like I said, it's way more complex than just finding that inner voice to tell you, okay, let's go do this.
Yeah.
You can get up. You can do it. You can brush your teeth without throwing up, for example, sometimes. It will depend. It will depend for sure. But everything affects it.
Yeah, and that's exactly why like this topic is so good for us to touch on, because we always think that motivation is so simple, and it's not. It really isn't. It's very complex. There are a lot of different aspects that come with motivating each other, motivating ourselves, right? And for some people, it's a lot harder than others to be motivated. And that's okay, because we're all different, right? None of us are the same. Jeff and I aren't the same, right? We're not the same. We're born in the same month, but we're not the same.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's what makes us unique. And everybody in here can help to motivate each other in some way, shape, or form. Just listening to this conversation is motivational.
Exactly.
Right? And so I'm hoping that based on this conversation that you're able to take pieces of it into your life today, tomorrow, next day, next year, which is right around the corner. Yeah, to carry it. And I know a lot of people, the new year is coming, so there's New Year's resolutions that don't really work, if that's how I feel. But anyway, it's about lifestyle change. It's about connection. And I'm truly grateful that we have this connection here, that we can be able to speak freely and openly about topics like this. And we're here because mindfulness and meditation has brought us together, right? So when we think about meditation, how have you used meditation to motivate you?
Being aware of every moment helps you to make decisions better, I think. But it's hard. When I'm not aware of what exactly I'm doing right now in the present moment, I can make really stupid decisions and mistakes. And only afterwards I say, why did I do that in that moment? It's because I wasn't thinking, I wasn't being aware. So mindfulness practice helps me to bring me back to focus. And I enjoy the life more when I'm in the moment. I'm not worrying about tomorrow. I'm not wasting my time worrying about tomorrow. I'm actually using my time enjoying this moment in life. And then so I find life more relaxing, more beautiful. Even when I'm doing things, I'm still enjoying doing that thing in the moment. And I'm not worried about the future, and I'm not angry about the past. So wasted emotion in that moment in time.
Yeah.
The beauty of mindfulness. You can carry mindfulness with you 24/7. And you can always find that, that joy, that sense of peace in between the worst chaos you're experiencing.
I remember when my children were younger, life was so busy, and I was just trying to finish chores. Okay, I was going to go to the next one, and just, go through the list like that. And I forgot to enjoy those moments that I was doing those things. I didn't know, right? I didn't know how to meditate. I didn't know how to be mindful. And looking back, I wasted so many years of beautiful moments.
That's what my older one says now to me. But you're doing things so different with Paula. I started doing things different a little, because I was too busy working, you know, that my parents or my grandparents were the ones like
moving them around and yeah. Well, I know like
that's life.
it is. It is. I know like for me with meditation and motivation, you know, there'll be times where I'll be working at home and I'm just like, you know how you get blank in the mind? Sometimes it's like, nothing is there right now. I am not moving forward. I don't want to do anything right now. Like, you know, sometimes we mindlessly scroll on our phone, right? And then there's a half an hour that goes by or 2 hours. I don't do 2 hours, but you know, TikTok your life away. Oh, anyway, it's a whole nother thing.
That was gonna TikTok your life away. Yeah, I like that one.
But, you know, I bring meditation in when it's moments like that, breathing and meditation, because that's the refocus. And it's like a shift, a complete shift that happens in my body to be able to get back on track so that I can be motivated to move forward and helping people, because that's what I do in my job, is helping people, right? And if I'm not motivated to help people,
How can you help?
how can I help them? Yeah. I mean, even with one of my coaches, he has a multi-million-dollar company, and we would have conferences, and sometimes, you know, didn't notice, but he would steal away, right? He would slip out of the conference, because he said every single day I make sure that I have my meditation. I don't care what is going on. I will find time to meditate. And this was a huge conference that he's putting on for all of these people. And he still slips out and makes sure that it's handled. Other people are doing this. I'm still going to get my meditation in, because if I don't, then I know that I'm not going to be good for the people that are out there, right? And so it's like, how can we find time in making sure that we incorporate meditation? And we talked about a few times before, like at least even getting in a minute of meditation, getting in 5 minutes, 20, or whatever is best for you. A minute may be good to start, right? Like I was talking to Jeff earlier, and he said he's done some meditation, you know, maybe not a lot, but he's done it. And that's great. Like some people haven't. But you have to start where you're at, what you can do, what you can fit in. And as you find time, like we all have 24 hours in a day. We say, oh, I can fit in a minute. But really, when you look at your time, as time keeps going, you're like, oh, I really enjoy this. Oh, I can find 10 minutes. Oh, I really enjoy this. I can find an hour. Whatever works for you, right? And so we're here today to do what? To meditate. So we're going to go ahead and get some meditation in now. So I know we've been sitting for a bit. If you want to go ahead and stretch out just a little bit before we get into our meditation and peace and
Straight out.
good. Yeah, you're rubbing the legs. Yes. All right. And going ahead and getting in a comfortable position, seated. Do a seated meditation and just make sure your back is straight so that you have a good airway. Breathe. And we're just going to start the meditation with a few breathing exercises before we get into a calm meditation, thinking about motivation. So you can go ahead and close your eyes or have a gentle gaze towards the ground, just making sure that you're focused on one spot if you have your eyes towards the ground. And as you're sitting here, just taking a deep breath in through your nose and holding it. And as you release through your mouth with a sigh. Taking another deep breath in and hold. release through your mouth with a sigh. Taking another deep breath in and hold, and releasing out with a sigh. And as you're sitting there thinking about everything that we've talked about, letting that marinate in your mind, marinate in your body, just bringing your awareness to your toes. Just wiggling your toes, noticing there. Bringing your awareness to your fingers, wiggling your fingers, noticing that they're there. Bringing the awareness to the top of your head and noticing the space above your head. And just being present in that space as you continue breathing in and out. As you breathe in this time, just noticing that space. Breathing out, letting your awareness just drop down the sides of your body. Going from the top of your head, from the back of your head, into your neck. Feeling that space going down your spine, and down your arms, into your fingertips. Thinking of the things that you have coming that you are extremely motivated to do. Whether that's with your hands, with your feet, or your mouth, your mind, your body. Just bringing that awareness back to your fingers and allowing that awareness to transfer. It's right up in the top of your chest. Noticing that space in your chest. As your heart is present there. Taking a moment to just breathe in and out. Noticing your heartbeat. You breathe in and out. Just taking a few moments to be present here in this space, right in your chest. Beating life in your heart. Continuing to breathe in and out. Breathing in and out. Allowing that awareness to travel down into your belly. Noticing the space in your belly. And as we go through our everyday lives, just noticing how these spaces in our body feel. As we encounter other people, as we encounter situations, places and things. Never being disconnected from our body. And just noticing the space now and what you're feeling. Is it tight? Is it free? Is it vibrating? Is it still? It's taking a deep, big belly breath in, extending your belly out, and pushing the breath out to your mouth. Take another deep, big belly breath in and out through your mouth. Doing that a couple more times on your own. In. You do this last one, deep, big belly breath in. Just notice how the air is flowing through your body. Feeling the energy flowing through your arms, through your legs, through your torso, your back, your feet, your hands, your neck, your forehead, your temples. Taking a deep, big breath in and out. And as we bring this meditation to a close, with your eyes still closed, just wiggling your toes, and at the same time, if you can, wiggle your fingers. Just shifting your spine from side to side, just waking your body up. And when you're ready, just slowly opening your eyes. Hello. All right, so I know, like we said, we've been sitting for a while. We're going to go ahead and do a body massage to ourselves. And I know a lot of times we don't take care of our bodies when it comes to massage, and this is very healing, right? So we're going to start with our hands and just move our hands a little bit. Our energy force and bringing our hands together. Getting that warm energy between our hands and taking that energy and placing it over our eyes. And just gently massaging around our eyes with our hands. And taking the fingertips to our forehead. Just massaging our forehead. Bringing those fingertips down to your temples. Massaging your temples. Bringing those fingertips down to your jawline and massage your jaw. Good. Massage your chin. Sometimes we don't think about our little chin. Good. Massage the sides of your mouth. And going up and massaging the side of your nose. And back up to that space right in between your eyes. And just taking your fingertips and just going around in little circles right there between your eyes. And then switching the direction right there in between your eyes, still doing a circle. Just taking your hands and giving some more energy between them. And so we take it to our head and gently massaging our scalp. That feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. Starting at our crown, just getting the very top of our head and massaging down the back. To our ears. This is the space I like. Just taking your fingers and just massaging your ear from the lobe and all the way up. Yeah, there you go. And just gently pulling it, tugging just a little bit. Going to the other ear. I like to do one at a time so you can really be present with that feeling and how it feels and the difference that it feels, the different way it feels on each ear. Here you go, Jeff. Good job. And gently pulling the other ear. And just taking your fingers and massaging the side of your neck. Coming to the front, massaging, gently massaging the front. Right under your chin. And then taking the fingers to the back of your neck. Good job. Yeah. And then taking one hand to one side, your shoulder, right in your back, and just really feeling that massage, feeling that area, showing that area some love. Going down to your shoulder. Going down the front of your arm. Coming back up, going down the other side of your arm. And down to your hand. And just getting that space in between your thumb, index finger. Just massaging up each one of your fingers. And your palm. Yeah. And then going to the other arm, getting that shoulder. Ooh, that one's tight. Feeling that loosen up. Going down that shoulder, down the front of that arm. And back up the other side of the arm. To your hand. Right in that space between the thumb and the index finger, and between each finger and up each finger. There you go. Just massaging that palm. Going down the sides of our body, and patting just there, just gently. Going to the other side and patting gently. Getting that blood flowing. Taking your hands and massaging right in the front. And down the sides. Your lower back. You can reach. You can't, you can always go down to your sides, where we're all going next. And down the front of your legs. Massaging however feels good to you. And don't forget the back. And right behind the knees. Massaging the knees. Knees don't get left out. And going down the front of your legs and the back and your calves. And if you can reach, if you can't, stay just on your legs. If you can reach, going down to your ankles. And to your feet. Doing a quick pat of your feet. There you go. There you go. Yeah. And if you can, just pulling at each toe. If you can't, just continue patting your legs, massaging your legs. And going to the other leg. Continue to massage there. If you can't reach your feet, if you can, go ahead and massage that ankle just a little bit, right at that Achilles. Down to your foot. To your toes. Just a pat on that foot. And taking one big stretch up and breathing out as you come down. All right. Yes. Okay. How was that for everyone? Anybody want to share their experience?
I like the massaging. It's kind of relaxing. It hits on every muscle. Yeah, it's really good. I enjoyed that part.
Yeah, that's what I say. We forget to take care of ourselves, and that's something like we can still be doing other stuff, and we can do a little massage. Yes. Anybody else want to share?
I just wanted to say I'm glad you picked the subject of motivation. Thank you.
Thank you. What did that do for you? You don't mind sharing?
Well, I'm kind of a self-starter, and but I think my son Jeff needs a little bit of lessons on motivation, so I'm pleased about that.
And how'd you feel about motivation today?
I'm motivated completely by other people. I have no self-motivation. I have no self-motivation at all. I'm motivated by the group of people that I'm with at the time, and if the memory is strong enough, it lasts a long time. But I'm not self-motivated. My brain doesn't do self-motivation.
But that's great. Like you do have motivation,
Right.
right? You do
Right.
have motivation.
You
Good.
just need somebody to give him a push.
Yeah, yeah. But at least you know what you need.
Right.
Yes. And that's what we need to know. Like, what is it that we need, right? Anybody want to share over here?
Well, maybe a little bit. I really want to know, not sure, but I would really like to know how Jeff feel after practicing with us and experiencing all this today here. And I'm gonna go to you because I really want to listen to hear what you have to say about today's practice and how it was for you.
Well, it's good. I'm doing other exercises as well in where I live. I'm doing something similar to those, and it all works together to make progress.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here today, and we're so grateful for your parents to bring you here today and for spending this morning with us. I know motivation can be challenging for everybody at times, but if we really connect with that, everything that is around us, we can find motivation even in the simple things of life, I feel. Yeah. Thank you for choosing that topic today.
You're welcome. It's a last minute switch, actually. It was like, feel like I'm supposed to talk about this. Okay. Would you like to share?
Me?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, thank you for choosing the topic. I think it's an important topic for everyone. And I think with me, I find that I have to constantly practice and be motivated. So there are moments when I am not motivated. There are moments I feel lazy and I don't want to do things, but I have to make things happen. So, and I think mindfulness practice like this or discussion like this really helps me a lot. The next time I feel like I need to motivate myself, I'll remember about this session. And then that will help me to motivate myself. And back to the point where Jeff was saying that if the memory stays long enough, he will get better at it. So I just want to share that everything takes practice. And mindfulness practice does, with the deep breathing as well, it improves your memory. And that's been proven by research, and it takes as little as 8 weeks. For us, 8 weeks is not a long time, I don't think. It doesn't take years. It literally takes 8 weeks with this practice. I think the research is about 15 minutes or so that they do every day, just 15 minutes every day. After 8 weeks, the memory improves. And they also did the MRI scan of the brain, and after 8 weeks of practice, they see an increase in the gray matter in the brain. So this practice, through the deep breathing technique, actually changes your brain, not only in your thought, but only in the physical form. Your brain atrophy will slow down. Your gray matter thickness in the areas that are important for things like memory and retaining information, it actually increases in thickness. So I hope that, with Jeff coming in here every week, that's a good start. Practice with us here, and then gradually as he gets better, he will practice on his own at home. That's how we all start, I think. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Rachel, would you like to share?
Oh. So I think one of the things with motivation also is like self-love. So on one day you may not be crazy motivated, but figuring out what ways work for you. It's just like with meditation. Like everyone is going to have a different style that affects their body in a different way, or how they have to have the meditation brought to them and things like that. And so I think it's important also not to be too hard on ourselves when it comes to motivation in general, because I feel like a lot of times our world is just at a whole fast-paced all the time, go, 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 and sometimes our motivation may not look like somebody else's, and that's okay too. So.
Okay. It's okay, right? A lot of times we want to compare.
Say one more thing.
Yes.
Based on my own experience and also my wife's experience with me, motivation sometimes, or most of the time, should end in success. In other words, whatever you're motivated to do, you should be successful at it. And that will promote more motivation on your part. My big example, and I've heard you talk about medications, and certainly medications are important, but and I think I mentioned this to a few of you last week, but in 2017, as a result of talking to some friends of mine from high school, we became vegans. And we gave up all dairy, all eggs, and all meat products. And my success was that 6 months later, I'm no longer a diabetic, I'm no longer high cholesterol, I lost 20 pounds. 2 of my doctors said that they were going to try it based on my experience. And, you know, so I had a lot of success. Now, I originally said that motivation, it's good that you have success from it. I will never go back to eating meat-based foods, ever. I'm motivated because of my success in 6 months to continue doing, why wouldn't I be? I was taking 5 pills, now I take 1 for my prostate because I have an enlarged prostate. But I don't take any pills for any other organs. I was taking a pill for my kidneys. I was starting to have kidney problems, and I don't take it anymore. So, but my point is not me, okay? My point is that it really helps to have success when you're motivated to do something.
Successful story, it gives motivation to others.
Yep.
It does.
Yep, the outcome.
Yeah.
The outcome.
Enough failure we tend to be less motivated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
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 thank you for
yeah.
sharing
Thank
that.
you. Thank you all for sharing. This class wouldn't be what it is without everyone sharing and just being open, right? We share our experiences with others. We learn from each other every single week. Even when we're up here teaching, we're learning from all of you. So thank you for making this class what it is. And thank you to all the YouTube followers being with us every Saturday morning or watching afterwards. We appreciate you as well. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay motivated in whatever way that you do. And we'll see you next week.
Are we in